My name is Peter Valin. I'm a Senior Marketing Manager for BlackBerry App World in Content Marketing. I'm here to talk to you today about promotion and monetization strategies with BlackBerry App World. So before I get into the presentation, really just wanted to get a gauge of the crowd and who I'm talking to. So can I just get a show of hands? Who has an application or game or some sort of content item in BlackBerry App World today? Okay, so probably about a third to half the room. Okay, great. Cool. So BlackBerry App World, it's our store. This is where we sell all of our content. We've had some really great success with our store to date. It is a very powerful store, so we have a great reach. You know, we have 80 million subscribers, as you heard from Thorsten and the team today. BlackBerry App World is available in 170 markets around the world. You know, this is very competitive to other stores out there. We have well over 3 billion downloads to date. We've already surpassed our downloads from last year, so for those that think, oh, you know, people aren't downloading content from App World anymore or on BlackBerry anymore, that's totally a myth. We have a very successful store. It does very well. It's growing all the time. Even in our uniques, we've seen over a 50% growth in 2012 over 2011, and that's only all that data is based till end of August. So still a few months to really take it over the edge in 2012. As Alec announced today, we have well over 100,000 apps that are approved for sale in BlackBerry App World today. So it's a very vibrant, healthy store with a really strong reach. And then I just also want to touch on the ecosystem successes. So, you know, you probably hear a lot about BBM Connected and really trying to integrate your apps, and we have some great success on BBM Connected to date. We have well over 2,300 BBM Connected apps that average a 50% growth quarter over quarter in the past year. So really strong growth there with our BBM Connected APIs. You know, we have a lot of vendors coming on the store, growing really quickly. You know, there's been both our numbers as well as Desmodo has posted numbers that we're the fastest growing store percentage-wise. So really vibrant ecosystem that we have. Another point is around, you know, and really in most of the show you'll hear about BlackBerry 10 because that's the big story, that's the big news. But I just want to touch on there are successes and really important things you need to know about what's live today, which is our BlackBerry OS and our Playbook. And those are doing extremely well. And you know, looking at BlackBerry 7 specifically and Playbook, I'll touch on those a little bit more in the following slides. But really great success on those platforms. So again, you know, our ecosystem is very vibrant today, and there's, you know, as probably many people in the crowd could attest, you know, there's really great monetization opportunities today. Another great tidbit, or metric that I really like, is our payment services is a really great story today. And actually, the session following this, in this exact room, that Garrett will cover on is really about our services and how you can leverage them and really benefit from them. But you know, our top vendor using BlackBerry Payment Services is really, you know, as you can see, you know, made quite a bit of money on that service today. So interesting metric there. So again, BlackBerry 7, it's actually our most profitable platform now, which is really, we've seen some really great growth around the world. And actually just to add to these metrics, you know, in North America specifically, in the past, well in 2012, we've seen BlackBerry 7 grow from 26% of total downloads to 43% of total downloads. So again, you know, just touched on BlackBerry 7 for the moment, just because it is an opportunity today to make money if you are you know, are looking to make money today. BlackBerry 7 is a great set of devices or platform to target because that's where the downloads and revenue are coming from today. As well, BlackBerry Playbook, okay? This is our tablet. It's by far our number one revenue generating device. It accounts for 18% of our revenue globally. So again, really powerful way to generate money today. And I think this really speaks to, you know, what's to come on BlackBerry 10. You know, Playbook is sort of our first iteration of our new platform, and you know, it's, you know, or maybe a baby step to BlackBerry 10. But it really shows that there's a great appetite by consumers to consume data on BlackBerry. We see people downloading a lot of free content, obviously downloading a lot of paid content, and you know, people are consuming content over and over again. So over 64% of Playbook owners have downloaded at least one content item per month. So they just continue to come back. And that's really important to us from a store perspective. You want people coming back, you want them to consume more content, you want them to discover what's going on in the store. So a really great story there, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what's to come with BlackBerry 10, because as the BlackBerry 10 comes on, there'll be a lot more users, there'll be a lot more discovery, there'll be a lot more purchasing and opportunities for you to make money. All right, so that's sort of the BlackBerry 7, BlackBerry 10. I've talked about the reach of the store, the successes of our ecosystem. On the next few slides, I'm going to go through just some metrics from around the world, just to give you guys an idea of, this is what's going on in our store to date in terms of downloads and revenues. It just sort of gives you insights in terms of, to my later part of my presentation, when we start to talk about going to market and what to do and thinking about your strategy when you go to market. Because some of these numbers might impact your thoughts, because think of things like, will carrier billing be available? Is there many downloads, paid downloads in this particular region or country? So maybe I want to think to monetize through advertising, or maybe I want to use our payment services. So there's different questions that you really want to start thinking about during this session, and hopefully I can answer them for you. And if I don't cover them in this session, I'm really happy to give you my card, and we can talk about them further offline. But this slide in particular, just showing the breakout by OS. You can see again, Playbook, BlackBerry 7 and Playbook are really dominating the revenue for the past 3 months. You can see the splits over by regions. I'm going to go into a little more detail on the regions. Really just quickly touching on these before I get to really the meat of my presentation. So these are just slides setting you up for what's to come. This is just looking at North America. It's pretty typical to the OS split's pretty similar to the global. You can see the category breakdowns. Social and gaming very, very high on the free side, then paid. Games, no surprise there. Utilities, no surprise there. So I'm just going to move on to the next region. So Latin America. So you can see, excuse me, you can see the slightly different OS split in terms of the platforms. And the countries you can see there. It's a pretty good mix of different countries throughout Latin America. A really thriving region, a very high number of free downloads, not as maybe high on the revenues. And this is maybe a region you want to look to maybe try and monetize through advertising or have more payment service or subscription or try and buy type things to try and monetize in this region. Here's the category breakdown for Latin America. Again, I don't think there's anything too shocking out of these slides, but a good sort of visual and sort of seeing where things might lie. And really all these category breakdowns, it's not so much that there's a bigger opportunity in social, but rather if you are in one of these other categories or maybe one that didn't make it to this list because it's a smaller percentage, I think that's an opportunity as well to be a category leader and really take it to a new level. So, and make sure you think about it in two different ways. There's both opportunities in the smaller numbers. Europe, and typically, we talk about EMEA or Europe, Middle East, and Africa. I sort of broke it out by Europe, and I took Middle East and Africa and broke that off a little bit. Just to give a little more insight. Again, pretty good spread across the region. We do very well in a lot of these different markets. The UK is our leader there. We have, I think we're the #1 smartphone or a few of the top 10 smartphones in the UK today. But, really growing in France and the Netherlands and Spain and Italy for sure as well. So I think, one that was sort of surprising to me, that there was, that Russia was starting to really grow and Portugal made that list as well. So some interesting ones there. Here's the category breakdowns. Again, I don't think there's anything too crazy here. Fairly typical. So I'll just move on to Middle East and Africa. So we have a big spike over on the left there. It's South Africa, where we have a really, really strong market share. And I have to preface this with, don't think that the Middle Eastern countries or any of the countries in this slide we are not doing well in. We do extremely well in all of these. It's just in South Africa, I think we have like 90% market share or something like that. So it's like really over indexes versus the others. I think next time if I were to do this over again, I'd probably split out South Africa from this. But again, fairly different OS split. I think Playbook sales are just really starting to get going in this region. So the categories breakdowns, fairly typical again. Nothing really surprising there. So let's move on. Asia Pac. Similar to Africa, we over-index in Indonesia. For any of you who have applications in App World today, you'll probably see a lot of downloads from Indonesia. Very strong market for us. So again, it's not that India, Australia, or Japan or any of these countries are doing poorly by any means, but rather versus Indonesia, they're not as many subscribers there. But again, the OS split's a little bit different. Playbook's still growing there, but BlackBerry 7 doing very well. So interesting input there. Asia Pac, nothing really too shocking on the categories. Okay, so now we've sort of gone through again the reach of the store, the ecosystem successes, where people are making money today on BlackBerry 7 and Playbook, as well as our BlackBerry OS, other versions of BlackBerry OS. The next couple slides, I just want to touch on BlackBerry 10, and Ryan, who's actually in the audience, gave a demo today with Marty and Alec on the new storefront. We're really excited about the new storefront. The guys have put a lot of work and effort into it, and really excited to bring this to market. So the new storefront is a whole new store, complete new UI. It's really a powerful digital shopping experience. We've integrated, as Ryan pointed out in the demo today, we now have video, we now have music. So you can just imagine, now everyone's coming to the store. It's the one-stop shop for everything, whatever kind of content item it is. So we're going to have a lot more traffic into the store. And the other thing, we've designed the store with everything was very purpose-built. So in the home screen, as you would swipe through the different feature images, it's mixed content types. So there's going to be apps beside videos, and there's going to be games, and it's going to be really mixed, and it's going to drive people into the store. We really want to get people to further into the store to discover content that they're interested in, but also cross-sell content to say, hey, I'm interested in that movie, maybe I'll get that too. So there's a lot of really great opportunities to sort of mix up different content items, and that will really benefit you, the vendor community, because one, you have more people coming to the store, so you have greater volume, right? And then two, you're going to be beside, the biggest Hollywood hit potentially in the storefront. So there's really a lot of eyes, and you're going to get a lot of attention and focus. So really great opportunities there. I love the design. I think it's amazing. I think you will too, and I think you're going to benefit from it. Everything's sort of similar to today. All the same payment options are there. As well, we've really made some improvements in some of our top lists. So we have a trending list that, for apps and games to see what's hot and what's going on. We have, sort of the post-purchase, people who bought this also bought that, so sort of recommendations to try and generate content sort of post-purchase or post-download. So another opportunity, to have that sort of viral growth. The sharing, speaking of viral, we're really focused on enhancing the sharing of content within the store, and whether it be Facebook or Twitter or email or any sort of sharing IM or BBM, and even NFC. So we're really enabling different ways that you can share content from the store with your friends or family or whoever. I think that's it on the new store. So here's some other looks on the store. We have dedicated content channels. Similar to today, we have sort of a games channel, an apps channel, and we'll have obviously music and video channels. So these will be more further into the store where they're drill downs in those specific content types. I think we're really focused on discovery. We've really improved, our searches and trying to make sure that you can find the content that you want. We're also, all the same payment service capabilities are available. So, in-app, digital goods, subscriptions, those are going to be all available as ways to monetize in the store. I'll touch on that a little bit further, and Garrett's going to touch on that after this in the next session. So that was the store. Another really important point that we always try and hammer home, because we're industry leading in it, is carrier billing. We are leading with this. We have well over 50, I believe it's 52 carrier billing integrations around the world. I believe it's in 39 countries. It's a very powerful payment option. Every time we launch a carrier, we see anywhere from 100 to 300% uptake in App World sales on that particular carrier. We also see, after sort of maturing, that 75% of purchases over time start to use carrier billing as their payment type. So really powerful way for people just to simply add the $1 or the $2 to their wireless bill. So a very powerful tool, and that's something that, you don't have to do anything. We've enabled that for the storefront across the board, regardless of the content types, and so that's available as a benefit to you folks. It really makes payments easy. I think it really drives a lot of discovery, and it really drives a lot of loyalty. We're really seeing people coming back each month and buying more and more content items, and it's something that we're going to be very aggressive at continuing to evolve and get more carrier billing partners on board. So you'll see, I think you'll see us be continue to be industry leading in this respect. A part that's related that we'd like to touch upon, with carrier billing is our carrier channel. So I'm just going to, if you actually look on the screenshot there under Foursquare that says mobile telecom. So that's a placeholder for our carrier channel. So essentially you can imagine there'll be a Vodafone logo there, or an AT&T logo there. And once you click on that in the store, you're brought to the carrier channel. And this is really the area where the carriers actually select the content from our store that they'd like to highlight or put forward as recommendations. So it's another discovery point, so a benefit to you. It's also a place where carriers are going to look to push people. So when carriers do their promotions, they're going to be trying to push people to that specific list where they've been working with you perhaps or us to really make sure, make special offers or whatever the case may be within the carrier channel. That's where they're going to be pointing to. So you have that, it's a very strategic thing, right? So you think, okay, now I have, AT&T or Vodafone with, X thousands number of sales employees all pushing my content item this month in the brick and mortar stores in that particular country. So really powerful, really strategic. So we've made this available to our carrier partners, and they're starting to bring that on, and you'll see a lot more in BlackBerry 10. So it's a great marketing opportunity to be involved with if that comes your way. Some stats on that, I think they're self-explanatory. 76% of sales within the carrier channel are going through carrier billing, so we're really seeing that the users are interested in purchasing through their carrier in this point. So it's, I think the key point there is, if carriers are seeing success on it, they're going to push it, and if they're starting to push content and trying to make more content visible or discoverable to end users, it's only a benefit to you guys who are the content providers. Okay, so this is really the meat of the presentation, and I just want to talk about making more money. And these are all strategies. A lot of them might seem obvious, but I can tell you that we see a lot of mistakes every day, and there's some folks in the room that are from the team, and they can attest to a lot of those different mistakes. I think there's a lot of opportunities. Some vendors do it also very well. So I'll touch on, I'll have a dedicated slide essentially for each of these points, but leveraging the platform, and which you'll probably hear a lot of, especially in the other sessions. Monetizing and strategizing your go-to-market, as well as optimizing, which is really underlooked, I believe, and then how we can work with you, which is often a question that I get as a marketer. How can I work with BlackBerry to help market my content? So, all right, so leveraging the platform. So you heard it from Thorsten, you heard it from Chris Smith and from Alec. Really leverage our platform. The APIs, the SDKs, they're all out. They're available for you to start building today. Use your dev alphas. The messages are, you'll probably hear this a lot because it is just so important. Really try and integrate to those core apps. Integrate into, make sure it pops up in the hub. To ensure the users have that stickiness and that you have them going back to your content or going back to your app as much as possible. Make it social, make it very shareable. Whether you're connecting to BBM or gamifying your content to try and again create that stickiness, create the adoption, keep people using your content, and then lastly make it beautiful. It goes without it's sort of self-explanatory, but there's a real opportunity on BlackBerry 10 to make really stunning content. Leverage cascades and the preformed UI elements that are available. Great opportunity there. And obviously, a lot of you are great designers and have your own design teams or whatever, and really try and bring something amazing on BlackBerry 10 because you will really benefit from it. Monetization. I think this is a pretty important thing, and really the crux of this conversation is understanding your markets. I see we see a lot of vendors do it really well, and a lot of vendors do it not so well, or could improve. Pricing is something, is the first purchase consideration, right? So it doesn't matter what you're buying, what's the price, right? So make sure you think about, how should I price? Or, well, first, how should I monetize, right? Should it be free? Should I do it through advertising? Should it be paid? Should I have a subscription? Should I have digital goods? All that sort of stuff you have to figure about. And then that next one is price. So, okay, what should I price it at? And try and do A and B testing. Like try and have, candidly, we don't maybe set it up the best to try and do A and B testing in the store, but it's something you could potentially do by submitting a separate SKU just in a particular market to see, maybe I'll try a higher price in this particular region or set of countries. Just to see if there's, try and find that sort of price elasticity, find that sweet spot so that you can, really try and optimize your revenue. Another key point is pay attention. We'll be communicating to all of you all the time, or not all the time, on a regular basis, where we have carrier billing. And that's sort of a key consideration. Sorry, I touched on it earlier, but pay attention when we send out those notices about, hey, we've launched this many carrier billing partners, because then all of a sudden, there's actually a really viable way to purchase. So take Latin America, for example. A lot of countries in Latin America have very weird economics. And there's a lot of problems with credit cards, so therefore credit cards aren't really used. So all of a sudden that payment option isn't really an option in some of these markets, right? So, and then PayPal may not be ubiquitous in that particular country either, or people don't like to use it or not familiar with it. So carrier billing is really the only viable payment type. So think about that, and that might change your strategy. So you might have a freemium model for a while, but then carrier billing launches, and all of a sudden, maybe you want to try and monetize a different way. So really pay attention to that. Really, really important. Again, payment services. Really leverage our BlackBerry payment services. There's so many benefits. I'll touch on them in a little bit, and Garrett's going to go in further detail. But try and make it easy on yourself. We set it up to do so, and I think you'll see the benefits from it. Advertising. We have our own advertising service, but use whatever advertising service works for you. There's a bunch of them out there. It's something we're focused on or trying to make better in the future. But I think there's opportunities there, and it's definitely a way to monetize. So again, BlackBerry payment service. The bottom line is, why should you use it? Really, we make it easy. There's opportunities for you to benefit from all the billing types, so whether it's PayPal, credit cards, carrier billing. It provides the user a very seamless experience, and it's secure. So people trust purchasing things through the store. It's very easy. If you use the service, or use our store, it'll be very seamless and streamlined. You'll have that same consistent purchasing experience, which is really important when you're buying something in the digital world. Especially in a lot of markets, people are very sensitive to entering in a credit card number or any sort of credentials like that. So I think having that secure payment type or payment service will enable that more revenue for you. Some other sort of fundamentals, the building blocks to go into market. We see a lot of vendors have really bizarre app names, and they include like 30 words, and they're like 2 sentences long, and it's because they think that that's going to, increase the search results or things like that, and it's just not true. We're creating better ways to make search easier, whether it be keywords or whatever. But really have a name that's catchy, that translates really well. We're in 170 markets. Our devices are on 24 different languages. The app world's in 24 different languages. Our devices have, I don't even know how many languages, probably 50 or plus. So, you got to think about that. When you're going to a certain market, if you're not in their language and your app name doesn't really resonate in that particular country, you're not going to do well there. It's very unlikely that you will. So, try and keep those considerations. Keep it basic, keep it simple. Make it something that can be easily localized. Same thing with your feature image. Try not to have too much text in your feature image. Again, just because of localization. Your short descriptions. As well, in terms of your language support and where you go to market in. So if your app has a lot of content that is in specific languages, then really you got to think about, should I go to this particular region and launch my app? Because if people start downloading it and they're like, oh, well, it's not in my language, I don't understand what this is, this sucks, bad review, that's not helping you out, it's not helping them out. It's think about that. There's implications to going to different markets. So you want to be very purpose in your launches and how you go to market. So make sure that you're thinking about all these sort of details. So the devil's in the details on these types of things. Another thing that's really fundamental to when you go to market, and we see a lot of people do really well with this, is build out a marketing platform. Like have a Facebook fan page, have a Twitter account. Make sure that you're engaging with your customers as much as possible, or allow that engagement. Try and do your own marketing. You may not have a big base of customers, but it will grow, and we'll try and help you. But you have to have that sort of fundamental baseline to have that growth, to have any growth. So make sure you're trying to build that out and with your go-to-market strategy. Another thing is your marketing promotions and cross-promoting content. So if you have multiple content items, think about clever ways to try and cross-promote within each of them. This is a great way to increase the viral discovery. It's definitely something that we see some partners do a great job of today, and I think there's great successes out there on that. Another one is special offers, and we see this a lot, and we do this a lot with a lot of partners, where if you have one or many content items, and this could be going back to the pricing strategy, is maybe have a special offer at a different price point, whether it's free or just lower. Because that could be a great way to test for a small time period, what is the best price, but it's also a great way to create demand and generate more demand. We see some partners go to market, they have a strategy where they'll start at a low price for the first month, and then they'll increase price to what they really want, and others start high and then go low and then go back up, and there's different sort of strategies out there. So it really depends on who you are. I think probably if you want to create more demand and get a bigger base, you probably need a lower price point to get it going, and then maybe try and monetize later or increase the price later, versus maybe some of the more well-known brands or people, bigger titles, they might be able to come out of the gate with a really high price, and then over time they could mark it down. So it really depends on where you are with your content items. Is it brand new, or is it something that's well known, or you have a base from another platform, or what else is going on that you can leverage. Another topic, and this is sort of a side topic related to managing SKUs. So within AppWorld today, you submit a SKU, and you can have different releases under that SKU that will go out to the appropriate devices. For BlackBerry 10, we're doing a lot of work to make sure that you can still maintain that one single SKU and really just have all the relevant metadata for your apps. So you'll be able to and it's all by platform. So you'll have relevant metadata by platform. So whether it be your product name, your screenshots, the descriptions, the ratings and reviews, the social discovery, all these things are going to be relevant by platform. So it's actually a really great improvement we've made in the store in terms of the back end, and it's really going to benefit you a lot. So we think about the scenario of, okay, I have a BlackBerry OS content item today, or a Playbook content item today, and you're thinking about how do I get them, and you submit a new SKU for BlackBerry 10. Do you want to give them the app for free on BlackBerry 10? Maybe you want to charge for it, maybe at a lower price. So there's different opportunities there to try and leverage the base that you have on Playbook or on BB10 or sorry BBOS, where you could again monetize or bring over your base and make sure they're all consolidated or one SKU, because you don't really want to start to fragment your base too much. Otherwise, the ratings, reviews, and all that sort of stuff will be sort of fragmented across all these different SKUs. So you got to think about that in your overall monetization strategy. The SKU management is really key. Garrett, in the next session, he'll go in a little bit more detail on some of this, but really just wanted to highlight this as this is a key point in terms of how you monetize. You really got to make sure that when you go to market, it's very purposeful, and you have to think about what SKUs are going to go to what markets under what platforms and all that sort of stuff. Optimize. So this is something that, it probably goes without saying, but again, it's something that often vendors, just need to do a lot more of. Whether you're using, our analytics service or some other analytics service, just analyze, what's going on. Make small changes, and then analyze those changes, and then optimize based on what looks to be the best path. Whether it be the user experience or the payment type or the price, don't try not to make too many changes all at once, because then you won't be able to pinpoint what it is. But try and make small changes and then try and optimize. Seems simple and seems basic, but a lot of vendors are like, oh yeah, and they always forget to do it. So there's a lot of benefits to doing so, and I think it's something you should definitely do. So the last section is really, this is the common question I get is, how do I work with BlackBerry, or what is BlackBerry doing to market the store? What is BlackBerry doing to market content? And really, that's my job, and that's what I do every day. I can tell you, BlackBerry App World, as you saw, is going to be a key part of the BlackBerry 10 experience. It is the store. It is where everyone's going to go to get any type of content item. So you're going to have the volume. You're going to have people coming in. It's just a matter of getting that discoverability. We've designed the UI to try and increase the discovery and keep people coming back to the store. And then there's going to be ways where you can engage with us directly. So there's my team's email address. So BlackBerryAppWorldMarketing@rim.com. Email us. Tell us what's going on with your app. And we're going to try and be better at communicating back with you guys to say, hey, here's a content calendar or some seasonal things that are happening in your particular region or in the world. And we're looking for content for these types of promotions. Because all the time, what our team does is we're really looking for great content. So what are the category leaders? What are new and exciting? What's really resonating well with customers out there? And that's the content that we're really looking to feature and highlight. But we don't know about all you guys and all your content items. So please tell us what's going on, and if you have a launch or you have some sort of special offer that you want to go to market with, let us know, and we'll, if it works, if it fits with what we're looking to do, then we'll really be glad and working with you to try and add value to your campaign. In terms of both marketing the store in general to our customers, both today and on BlackBerry 10. I mean, you're going to see across the board marketing and promotions of the store, as well as the content items within the store. Whether it be traditional type media or digital marketing, social media, PR, direct marketing via email. These are all marketing channels or tactics that we're definitely going to be employing all the time on an ongoing basis to really try and drive discovery and revenue for the vendor community. And another key point is we're always interested in trying to get you guys to help market as well. So market yourselves and tell us about it. So tell us how you're marketing yourselves. Are you using our logo on your website? If not, we'll happily give it to you. We have it in 24 languages. If you want to translate a version. How are you reaching out to a base? Do you have a base? Are you reaching out to that base? How are you doing that? We really are interested to know how are you marketing your content. Are you purchasing any media, whether it be digital or more traditional? Because these are factors in terms of if we have to choose. We have two apps. They're almost exactly the same. The quality is the same, everything. But this guy is doing a great job of marketing. His content on BlackBerry, and this partner, only has the other platforms on their website and doesn't really talk about BlackBerry at all. Well, okay, probably gonna go with the other guy who's marketing our stuff. So really simple, really straightforward. Seems like a no-brainer. A lot of people don't do it. It makes a difference. So I can tell you that we're interested in that. So we'll scratch your back if you scratch ours. That's sort of the metaphor. But we're really looking to try and get engaged with you guys to try and market your own content, but we're really interested in that you do that. Special offers, you see them from time to time, both on Playbook and on BlackBerry OS today. It's definitely something we're going to have in BlackBerry 10. These are a little more rare opportunities, but something that my team puts a lot of effort into. Sometimes they're big, broad, far-reaching promotions. Sometimes they're very carrier-specific or a smaller niche target that we're trying to achieve. especially as you see more carrier billing partners come on board. The carriers are really behind it. They want to have special offers to try and generate demand and content for the devices, or add value to device purchases. So there's going to be lots of opportunities, and we're happy to be the connection between those opportunities, whether it be with the carrier or channel partners such as Best Buy or whoever it is, to try and deliver an offer to customers that has a content offer. That content offer can be one of your apps, there's obviously there's a lot of value in that. You could, the implications are quite large, I think you need to sort of, again, reach out to us, let us know why your content is great, because then once we understand your content, and we have people all over the world, so if you have content, specific to a certain region or whatever, well, that's great. We'll tell our Latin American colleagues, or we'll tell our colleagues in Italy or wherever it is, so that they know. So when these types of opportunities come up, they'll be sure to say, hey, this is a really relevant contextual content item that's awesome for that particular market. I really want to get it included in this because it really will resonate well with this particular offer that we're trying to put to market. So again, be in touch with us. Let us know what's going on, and we'll try and deliver some benefits to you. This is, I've already sort of touched on this really, about getting featured. Again, it's cross-platform, but really we're looking for great content. Going back to the previous slides around, make sure it's integrated, make sure it's social, make sure it's beautiful. Those are the key things that we're trying to look for in terms of what we feature. Again, I've sort of touched on this in a little bit. We market across all sorts of marketing channels, and we're going to continue to do so both today and tomorrow, and all the way through BlackBerry 10 and beyond. So I think you can really count on BlackBerry being very aggressive at marketing content to as many customers as possible around the world, because that's really what our team does every day. And again, I've touched on the particle marketing. There's the Get It at App World logo. That's something, again, we have in multiple languages. Feel free to reach out to us, and we'll give that to you. There's some examples of partners who've used it on their site today. Something that's, we are really interested in having as well. Again, special offers, there's some examples of some of the special offers that we've done. You could probably look on your playbook or a device today, and you'll see a special offer running. Some of them are big and just price reductions, and some of them are more large, where it's sort of free and broader and pushed out through a number of different marketing streams. And that is, this is not my slide. Okay. This is these are my, I guess, my housekeeping items that the folks had. So there's roundtables at 6 p.m. tonight in Exhibit Hall 1. Make sure to, pound Jam 46 is my session. If you want to join the conversation or continue the conversation, I'll stay out. We'll take some questions. If you want to take it offline, I'm happy to give out my cards and we can connect later. I'll be at the show all week. So feel free to reach out. And then, don't forget to download the BlackBerry Jam America's Mobile Conference Guide. It's on BlackBerry App World today. Sorry, I didn't put a barcode there to scan, but I'm sure you can search for it. And then there's an appreciation event tonight as well at 7 p.m. At the Tech Museum. So be sure to come out to that and check out the museum. Apparently, it's pretty cool. Please, be vocal, reach out. Again, BlackBerry App World Marketing at rim.com. That's my team's email address. Tell us why your content's great, whether it's something you have today or, pen that in for when you launch for BlackBerry 10. I think the dates that Alec mentioned today are really important. So 10/10, October 10th, that's when the store opens up for submitting BlackBerry 10 apps. So be sure to look at that. And then as well, 1/21, which is January 21st, to that's sort of the cutoff to be sort of have apps submitted and be a part of some great things for the 10K program. That's the date, that's the deadline. So that is all. So I'll take some questions. If anyone has any questions, please come up to the mic, because we're recording everything. So I want to capture all those questions on the mic. Yeah, go ahead.
What do you recommend as the second language after English to use as far as monetization?
Sure. LATAM Spanish.
Okay.
Is definitely probably big. I mean, if you're going down the Spanish route, you might as well do both Euro and LATAM. But just one for numerous reasons. But although LATAM isn't necessarily high on the number of paid downloads, it's just you cover almost a continent. So you're reaching out to a large number of people. I'd also say that I see a lot of very passionate LATAM users who really are more passionate about their language and want to see things in their language. Some countries, they're a little more tolerant of English. You go to the Netherlands, they go, okay, yeah, because 70% of those people speak English. So it really depends, but I see LATAM, there's people are pretty passionate about LATAM Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese. So those are two, if you cover those two languages, you've covered an entire continent. So that would be that one. I'm happy to give you more. French is another big one. I think German goes a long way too, because you all of a sudden reach out to a number of countries again. So whether it be Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and I guess the Netherlands or Luxembourg and a few other countries that are surrounding the Germanic region there. So that's another big one.
Okay. Yeah. One other question. When you have categories now that you're mixing them together, like say the music category,
yeah.
If there's say 100,000 music CDs, does that mean your music app is going to be lost in that massive amount of music category, or is it still sort of somewhat split out?
It's sort of split out, I guess. Like music apps will be sort of in the apps section versus the music content store, essentially. So it's like it's a whole dedicated area for music. Yeah. Which is coming from strategic partners that we brought on, whether it be whoever. So we have 20 million tracks in the music section, and then we'll have our apps over in the apps section. So,
very good. Thanks.
Yeah. Cheers.
Hi. Real quick question on the revenue splits for carriers versus the app world. Are they any different?
Totally great question. So it's the exact same splits. So it's 70-30. You guys always get the 70. We take the 30 and then we fight it out with the carriers on the carrier billing stuff. So
okay, thank you.
Yeah, cheers.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm from South America, and it's really interesting you said about carriers. Over there, people do not pay with card, but they pay a lot of money with carriers. So far, do you know where it's going to be starting and in which countries?
So we're already live in South Africa with Vodafone.
South America.
Oh, sorry?
South America, Latin America?
Oh, South America, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought it's South Africa. Definitely some markets are tougher than others.
I can imagine that.
With Digicel in some countries we're live, and it's definitely an area we're trying to get more carrier billing integrations, because we do really see that as probably the region that will benefit the most. So I can't comment on when and who, just because they're legal deals that I can't really speak to. But.
No, but I think it's going to be a really, really big change if you could pay with carriers. I mean, it's going to be enormous change. That's why
absolutely.
It's so important for me that you say that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like Latin America, it's a huge, credit cards pretty much are just flat out not used, period, which, so it's a huge payment type gone, right? Okay. And then, PayPal is not necessarily ubiquitous in a lot of countries, so in South America. So
you're dealing right now.
It's carrier billing. It comes down to it, right? And that's the big question. So until we have carrier billing in these specific markets, like how do I monetize in Latin America, right? Which is a huge question, probably one of the larger ones when you think about this session and strategy. And I think it's something we're trying to solve for the ecosystem. By bringing on these carrier billing partners. So I can tell you we're the most aggressive of all OEMs, which is a good thing, and will continue to be. But I can't speak to what carriers and what countries yet.
Okay, so far you don't have a timetable more or less when it's going to be ready. I think it's going to be a really great success if you could manage that at least in Latin America. But
couldn't agree more. Yeah, no, it's definitely. I can tell you, I sit at the same floor as the team that handles all of it, and they're busy every day trying to close more deals with carriers. So definitely lots to come.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Any more questions?
I've got one for you.
Cool.
About app discoverability, I know that's something that I'm concerned about. I think that a lot of the appeal to BlackBerry is that there is less out at the moment, and you can be a bigger fish in a smaller pond. But is there any sort of profiling planned or ways to increase app discoverability? I, like the other person, was concerned about having videos and music thrown in there as distracting people away from your apps. I get it for greater general traffic, but how about targeted stuff? For example, maybe profiling users that like puzzle games and then bringing that to their attention, or other things like that. Are there things planned, or can you just talk a little bit more about how we're going to get showcased? Because it seems a little bit right now that, especially when you have categories like trending, it's like the hot apps get hotter because they bubble to the top. They're seen more, they get hotter, so that cream does very well. But for the other 85, 95%, how do you break through? So maybe some of the things you've got planned for that.
Yeah, and we sort of refer that as content curation on our side, of the marketing side. So we have a team, and they're focused on essentially merchandising and trying to find, the indie game or the really, unknown great content. Both whether it's incoming from you guys saying, hey, my content's great, check it out, and we go and check it out, or they're just going and downloading. They're looking at what's new or what's coming to the store. Sometimes our operations guys are flagging it to us, say, hey, play with this. It was amazing. Check it out. So we're trying to curate and find those content items. So that, I guess, in general, we're trying to really make long tail. I call it long tail content more discoverable. Okay. In terms of the tactics, so you can see some of them today. If you look on Playbook or BlackBerry OS today, you'll see bundles. So what's hot. Right. It's not that there's they're downloads. It's what we think is hot. So we've curated the content to say, hey, these are really great content items. It'll be a mix. There'll be some bigger names in there, but really we try and make the longer tail discoverable as much as possible. Like, that's one of our key merchandising principles. I can tell you it's an internal document, but it's in there. Okay. That is, we're looking for great content, and to find something that's unknown or longer tail is definitely something we're interested in. So if you have one of those items, email us, tell us.
So that's our best recourse right now, is to get a hold of you guys.
We're doing it on our own, regardless of whatever you do.
Yeah. But from our end, I mean,
but your end, if you want to have a voice, there's an outlet to have a voice. Okay. Essentially self-nominate your content is what it is. So please do so.
I've got one more if there's nobody behind me. The other thing too is you talked a bit about optimizing and pricing and how to get that. And I know that from my standpoint anyway, it feels like a bit of an unknown. Like, we're all feeling in the dark. What's a good price point? How are things going to work? And you talked about strategies to try to, either do different SKUs or so on, and watch your own trends to optimize those. Is there any information that, either through the App Store, through the reports we get through our vendor portal, that can show aggregate data? So that's an average, let's say, of what's happening in App World, so I can use that as a benchmark or a watermark to compare my app to. For example, once again, let's say I'm putting out a puzzle game or a racing game, and I can say, okay, or I want to target Latin America and see, well, what's the price points doing there? Is there any way we can get that data, or is that something that we can hope for in the future?
Good question. I think I'll definitely take that back to the team to see how we can better communicate some recommendations to the vendor community. I think that's something we could definitely do. I can tell you offhand, just last time I checked the numbers, that I think it was like the $2.99 or $3.99 price points were like the highest sort of volume. Right. Versus, which might be different than other stores. It's probably $1, which is probably higher. Exactly. Yeah. So. I think, I'd love to do a better job of making sure to provide you with whatever information you want. So again, feel free to email the team or myself, and we'll do what we can to share what we can. But I think in a general, I think that's a good feedback, and we'll take that back to see how we can put out a broader sort of message around, here's some price points to think about. Just to add to the question or the comment, I think around pricing. So we have different tiers, right? And so you have to set a content item at a different tier, and that all of a sudden translates into a price point in a given market. So it might be $1 in the U.S., but it might be 75.
This is the thing, exactly.
So many pesos in Mexico, right? And
there's going to be different sweet spots in different areas and all sorts of stuff.
And I can tell you that what we've done is we've taken our price tiers and then we factored in about 4 different indices to find the purchasing power parity, within all these different countries, and then we sort of indexed that against our price point to say, so for example, the same example, 99 cents in the US.
Right.
In Mexico, it equals to about 75 cents US.
Okay.
Whatever it is in pesos, I can't remember. I think it's
Whatever,
90
yeah,
pesos or
I get
pesos.
the point.
So we're already doing some of that for you to try and make sure that the price points are competitive or relevant to that particular market. But yeah, you still might want to be a different tier. Like, for example, especially if it's higher price point content item.
And sorry, I missed your point there. You said you're doing that for us. I'm not quite sure how that's playing out. I missed that.
Okay, so in pricing, we've already handled a lot of sort of almost localizing the price for you, to simplify it, I guess, where we've used these indices and we've used the currency conversion to generate a price point that is more relevant to that particular market. So whether if your content item is $10 in North America, it's going to probably be less in other markets. We never really raise it. We essentially only lower it in markets where their purchasing power is lower, so they're less likely to purchase something that's that expensive. Like so in Indonesia, for example,
right,
or India, so the purchasing power is much lower than in the U.S. or North America. So we've essentially already lowered the price of the content item.
But so you're adjusting my set price automatically for these other markets.
Yeah.
See, I had no idea that was happening. Yeah. So if I say I'm charging $2.99 for an app, I might not be charging $2.99 for an app.
Well, it depends what country we're talking about.
That's what I'm saying, but I won't necessarily know that. How would I get that information?
So we've published all of the mapping. So it's a matrix. So each tier and what that translates into in every market.
Okay.
So we've already published that. There are certain markets that are a bit bizarre, specifically the UK and some European countries, just because another factor is carrier billing. But I won't complicate this too much with that.
That's okay. Yeah.
So in some points, we've actually raised the price, like maybe by like a cent or something like that, or a little bit, to meet some carrier billing restrictions.
Okay. Thanks. That's helpful. We'll maybe follow up more later. Thanks.
Okay. Yep. Hi.
Oh. Is this on? You just answered my question, but just a quick comment on that. So we have over 200 products in your store, and we've done a ton of price testing. And what we found is BlackBerry users have the least resistance to higher pricing of any app store we work in. We put in a product at $10 as a test, actually, and to this day, it's a 4-star rated app.
Great.
It's a theme, and we're selling a theme for $10. Wow. And we've tried everything where we bottom things out to 99 cents, and we just make less money. We found the price point for us for themes, like I said, we have over 200, is about $4.99, ends up being about the right number on it. Whereas, try to sell something in another app store for that.
Well, thank you. That's great feedback for both myself and in the room. And that's what I really encourage a lot of vendors to do is try and figure out what's the price elasticity for your content items. So, hi.
Do you have any way to provide videos in the App Store?
As like a demo video or
exactly.
a sort of trailer. Yeah. It's definitely something we're looking at doing in the future, and that's really all I can say to that. But I know there's some product guys in the room, and their ears are wide open. So yeah, there's definitely
definitely like that.
Yeah, definitely something we're looking at doing in the future. Yeah.
Right now, for the UK market, if we set the price to £20 in UK, the same item gets set to $20 in US. So is there any plan to kind of let vendors set the pricing for specific markets in US and Europe? I mean, especially...
I'm really glad you said that because, again, my product guys are here, and that's something that I've wanted them to do. But definitely something we're looking at doing because it will actually enable a lot more A and B type testing and try to facilitate this sort of stuff. So definitely something we've been planning on doing this for a long time, something we recognized a long time ago as something we needed to have. So it's definitely on the list of things to come. I can't speak to timing.
The reason I'm saying that is because some of us sell content on multiple platforms, and we get sometimes emails from customers who say that in UK this is priced way beyond what you're pricing on other competing platforms, and the reason is that we don't have an option to price it at the point we want to price it on App4.
So, I mean, there's the other way to do it is, and hopefully this answers your question, is you can just have a separate SKU. The problem
Yeah,
is all of a
then-
sudden you fragment your base by doing
And
that.
all the reviews and everything.
Yeah.
But, it's
And you know, that will get better, you know, in terms of, you know, I talked about the SKU management, and Garrett's going to talk about that more in the next session, in terms of the metadata and stuff. But pricing, you know, that's something that still needs to come, and unfortunately, you know, we're a little ways off, but it's definitely coming in the near future. So,
okay. Thank you very much.
cheers.
I don't know whether this question is relevant to this particular.
Sorry, could you speak up a little bit?
I'm not sure whether this question is relevant to this place. The thing is, I want to know whether you have any plans to bring out this discovery and analytics part of it as an application to be brought up by anybody, like by providing some interface.
So if I heard that right, are we planning on bringing out an app for analytics?
No. So will you give the facility for somebody to develop some applications for doing the discovery part of it and analytics part of it as an application apart from what you are providing? No. The app discovery, it's like what applications are there in the market, and then promotion part of it, all these things done by a third party apart from you.
Are there apps that are discovery apps to increase discovery? Like, is that what you're asking, to generate discovery?
Yeah, we can ask like that also. But
maybe we can take it offline after this discussion. I'm not sure that I really understand, but if I hear you right, it's talking about apps that allow or enable discovery outside of our store, you know, I think we're very focused on driving people to the store and just using the store, since it's going to be right on the device, and there's a lot of reasons why to go to the store. In terms of other applications that might drive discovery to the store, you know, we're not planning on building any, so you know, I think we're going to be doing a lot of things to try and generate that traffic and point directly to the store is what we're going to do. So.
okay, thank you.
This might be actually kind of a repetitive question.
Sure.
So, like, let's go with Microsoft for a second. When they actually do like XBLA titles, they actually send the vendors with the titles, with the information from region and price point and so on, and how many copies they sell. I don't, as I've accessed the vendor portal and so on, I haven't seen kind of like the breakdown and reporting. What are you guys looking at, either providing that either in raw format, or are you going to provide better analytics on the vendor portals?
Also glad you brought that up, because again, the relevant folks are in the room, so that's good. Definitely something we're looking to improve. You know, I think reporting's gone through a few iterations over the past few years, and we've sort of, it's definitely something we're looking at, making sure that you have all the information that you need and able to access it in a quick way. I mean, that was one of the problems we had in the past, where it was taking forever to get the reports or generate the reports. So that's, you know, I think it will improve in the very near future. If you want, we can talk after line, and I can maybe get more solid dates in terms of what and when, but not sure off the top of my head. So,
One more quick one. We've been part of the theme builder beta for the 7.0 porting. Is that going to move out of beta, or is it basically just everything stopping on 7.0 and we should really focus on 10 going forward? And
yeah, I mean, good question. I'm not sure the plans on BlackBerry 7 theme builder. I don't know if you guys know about it. No, they're all like, no. But yeah, definitely, I would just focus on BlackBerry 10. There's, you know, today there's opportunities, as I said, on BlackBerry 7, and you know, you can use that theme builder. There's a lot of vendors who've built great themes on maybe it's yourself for BlackBerry 7. I just don't know that the tooling or anything is going to be updated in the near future, but I can try and find out for you if you want. I can give you my card after, and we can try and find out. Great. Well, that's it. Any last questions? Okay. Well, thanks for the time, everyone. Really enjoy the show, and we'll see you around.